I found that study so interesting because, again, we're talking about similar rates, but why is it that one group gets targeted more often than the other group?
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up. This is based on self-reports. There have been further studies where they actually drug test the person after asking, do you smoke pot? Have you smoked pot in the last week? And it turns out there's a racial difference in telling the truth on did you smoke pot. Blacks were about 10 times more likely to lie and say they hadn't smoked pot. Point two, you can find it. I'll email it to you and you can post it. But the second point is nobody goes to prison for possession of pot.
That's untrue.
More than
untrue.
No, I know you're all potheads and you're gonna have trouble following what I'm about to say. But as you will be able to read in failing New York Times, almost 90% of people in prison are in prison as a result of a plea bargain. No one gets arrested and tried for possession of marijuana. But if they happen to have marijuana on them, that's what they plea it down to. You don't need witnesses, you don't need a trial. So it may be on the record, but you're not going to prison for that. You're going to prison because you held up a liquor store with a sawed-off shotgun and they found pot on you.
No. May I jump in?
Absolutely.
This is one of my favorite topics. I did a TEDx talk on it, so there's been a lot of research into this.
There's a lot of facts
why do you guys think we have private prisons? Why are our taxpayer dollars going toward private prisons? And why do we even need them, right?
Because we have a lot of criminals. Oh my goodness. We got to mansplain everything to you, Ana. Ana, Bajana, Manana, Kakana, Kakana, Patana. Oh my God, how many? I could go mansplain for hours to you and you still wouldn't understand some of the things they're talking about. Why do we have prisons? Because we have criminals. Oh my goodness, what a dunce.
छोटी बड़ी पत्ती से मिलकर बनता है टपाल फैमिली मिक्सचर का स्ट्रॉन्ग का।
Don't we have county prisons, federal prisons? Well, it's because in the 1980s, because of Republican leadership, we passed a bunch of draconian laws, specifically in regard to marijuana. And so our prison systems, all of a sudden, were just filled with people who got caught with possession of pot, right? And so, these entrepreneurs see that there's some, there's an entrepreneurial opportunity here. And so you have the emergence of Corrections Corporation of America and Geo Group. And guess what they did? They're like, give us your nonviolent drug offenders and make us rich. So your tax dollars aren't really going to welfare recipients and all these little guys that, people want to distract you with. They're going to private industries like private prisons who have a vested interest to criminalize nonviolent individuals, particularly those who get caught with drugs.
Should marijuana be legal?
No, you can legalize all the drugs you want once there isn't a welfare state. But no, marijuana makes people retarded, especially when they're young. We've got enough busboys. We're bringing in busboys by the million through our immigration policy. We do not need a country of busboys. We're destroying the country.
Should marijuana be legal?
Absolutely. In fact, I wish you would smoke a joint and relax a little bit. Marijuana does not make people the word that you just said, which is ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. It's retarded. In fact, I use it quite often when I talk about people being retarded, that the acronym is actually SIMMER, because they simmer. Just like you, Ana, are probably simmering when you're smoking your pot, becoming a pothead. So you're simmering, SIMR, stupid, idiotic, moronic, retarded. That's it. Can't say the word. What a wokester. What a social justice warrior. I'm not going to say the word retarded. No, I'm too big for that.
Idiot. How many of you guys don't have to raise your hands if you feel uncomfortable? How many of you guys smoke pot? Okay. Yeah. Well, there are lawmakers in this country that would like to see you in prison. Jeff Sessions happens to be one of them, okay? In fact, marijuana laws have been so draconian that it has allowed members of the DEA to do something known as civil asset forfeiture, which is if you are even suspected of being in possession of drugs or trafficking drugs, they can go ahead and take your home, they can take your money, they can take your car, they can take your property, because, hey, they're investigating you. And guess what? Only a tiny fraction of those individuals ever get their property back. You don't have to be convicted of anything. You don't have to even face any serious charges. It's just based on suspicion. And Obama actually brought that back a little bit, reeled it back in a little bit. Jeff Sessions comes into power, and all of a sudden, no, civil asset forfeiture, awesome. Let's take property away from these innocent Americans who haven't done anything wrong, but hey, our local police enforcement and the DEA need some resources, so let's go ahead and confiscate their property. That's what's happening with the drug war right now.
Our time is up. This has been extraordinary. I think this is what Politicon is about. Both sides talking, arguing passionately. Thank you guys. Thank you, Ana Kasparian. Thank you, Ann Coulter.
So anyways, there it is. I don't know. I think you can take it for what it's worth in terms of the marijuana debate. You're going to get people that are for marijuana, for legalizing it, not for marijuana, not for legalizing it. I just find it very humorous in the way that how we basically all of a sudden cigarettes are bad for you. All the data was hidden from all the cigarette companies, cigarette manufacturers, right? It doesn't cause cancer, it doesn't cause any disease, it doesn't cause nothing. No, it's perfectly fine. It's like eating candy, except you're just smoking it. It doesn't do anything, no harm to the body. Found out they were basically what? Lying their freaking asses off, right? And they got sued to the hilt. And now, yes, you still have cigarettes, but, can't have commercials, can't have this, can't have that, none of this, none of that, whatever. The whole thing. But, now, you know what? Let's replace it with, cigarette 2.0, marijuana. That's not going to do any harm. That's okay to smoke. That's okay to eat. That's okay to drink. That's okay, put it into candies, put it into, brownies, put it into gummy bears. That's perfectly fine. Smoke the weed, make it legal. Set up shops near public schools so kids can walk by and pretend that they're for pharmaceutical use. It's unbelievably retarded, folks. It's retarded. Replacing one thing that causes harm, and they say, oh, marijuana doesn't do nothing. It's not that bad. You just smoke a little bit, change your perception for a little bit. It doesn't lead to hard drugs or nothing, when all the data and all the studies show that it actually does. It's a step-up drug. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasir. Love you to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. Comment below. Let us know what you think. This was part 5 of the debates, the Politicon debates between Ana Kasparian and Ann Coulter. And I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.